So, no, I didn't get that. I have my little desk outside the door.
Did you not get that response, that email?
But quote wasn't in there? Yeah,
Yeah,
send it
I
again,
sent
did it come?
No, I didn't get it either. Yeah,
Okay, well, we got it right here.
yeah, I didn't get it. Said no weapon, you still have to get it. I can go to the other end.
Yeah, come on, Terry.
Yeah.
I said between Ellis and the lady.
Just want to welcome each and every one who's in attendance this afternoon, workshop. Apologize, I didn't give our formal agenda, but we'll go from there. But at this time, we like to welcome our guests, Mr.
Heath.
Heath, with truck work, and he's gonna speak with us in reference to our limb truck, and I put it on right now, but, and we spoke at our last council meeting that we wanted to talk about something. I remember I put it on my phone about the code enforcement officer, business license, our website, bookkeeping, and now I just added the limb truck. So at this time, Councilman Mangum's here as well. Just ask him to lead us in our invocation, please.
Father, we come to give you thanks to you, Father. Father, just want to thank you for all the things that you do in our lives, Father. Father, we ask that you would please be with us in this meeting, Father. Father, may it be a productive meeting, Father, that we may move the city forward in whatever form, in the forms that we're trying to do, Father. Father, just ask these things in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Okay. Since our guest is here, and it's one of our main, something that we're, our main agenda that we've been talking about the last few months is our condition of our limb truck. And since he's here and he's our out-of-town guest, we're gonna ask him, give him the floor, let him come first, so he can go ahead and may have some other stuff that he needs to make. And this time you have the floor, introduce yourself, where you're from and what you're doing and what you'd like to present to us.
All right, well, thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Yep, Mr. Ellis and I, we met at the convention last week. We put on a big show at the convention usually. We give away a lot of things and, cause a lot of attention, but it's for this purpose right here. It's, for you to come up and tell me, hey, I need a limb truck in Lafayette, Alabama, which I've never been to. So it's a pleasure to be here, an honor to be here. I do sell trucks for Kenworth. Kenworth, if you don't know anything about us, I would consider us the #1 truck brand in the world. And I would say it's between us and Peterbilt. Peterbilt is our sister company. So we're owned by PACCAR. So you know that our trucks are going to be phenomenal. We bring the highest resale of any truck on the road, and that's proved by the buyback option that we give to the cities and counties. So the limb truck that I'm presenting today is on a 380 Kenworth chassis, which is our new Kenworth chassis. It's bigger, wider, more room inside. If you're familiar with Kenworth at all, you probably are familiar with the 370, which is a little more narrow in the cab. So this cab gives your drivers a little more room. Kenworth emphasizes a lot on driver safety and comfort. The way that we design our trucks, there's a lot of intent put into designing these trucks with the driver in mind. So pedal positions, steering column positions, seat comfort, as far as where the mirrors are mounted on the truck versus them being on the door, they're on the cab, so they don't, vibrate. There's a lot of high quality products put into Kenworth. So for that, you're gonna pay more for a Kenworth, but where you see the residual value is you know, down the road when you get ready to sell it, or your maintenance costs are gonna go down. With any truck, you're gonna have maintenance costs, there's no doubt. But we pair our truck with a Sansom brush hog, which is what we would consider the best limb application. It's their Model C, which you'll see in the little handout that I gave you there. You know, Brush Hog has done a phenomenal job for us. They have great serviceability, great guys that work there. They've got a few locations in Alabama. Truckworks is an 11-location dealership in Alabama and Mississippi. We do a lot of business with cities and states. You know, we have great success with our buyback programs. Keeps you in new trucks. We put a 3-year number on that because we feel like that's where you get the best value for running the truck. The mentality of most cities is that, hey, we're gonna run it till the wheels fall off. And in the past, maybe that worked, but nowadays, that's not.
Or past that point.
Right, right. And that's where we see it.
Ran them off and put them back on and
Yeah.
run it off again.
We're right on
Yeah.
ribs.
Who needs weed?
Right. So, and really, that's been the mentality, and that's what we're trying to change, is that mindset, you know, that, hey, I have to run this thing, you know, until I absolutely can't anymore, and when that's not the truth. If you run it on this 3-year cycle, we give you a high, you know, buyback number that keeps you in a new truck under warranty, eliminates your maintenance costs. You're basically putting fuel in it at that point. And,
So for 3 years, how much, at 115,000?
yeah, $115,000 is the buyback, yeah. So I don't know if y'all plan on just purchasing it outright, if you're gonna finance it, or, you know, but that buyback's good whether you finance it or whether you decide to buy it outright. We're guaranteeing that number after 3 years. So, I don't know if y'all have any questions, but all the specs are listed here. This is our spec that we use for every single city and county that we sell to. Anybody who wants a brush truck,
This is the C model?
that's correct.
Yeah.
Yep, C model.
Is this similar to what Auburn and Oblecker are using?
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Okay. I mean, it looks very familiar.
Yeah, Mike Hardy handles that account, but this is the one that we order this unit for stock in a normal year, you know. The past year, we can't keep trucks on the ground, you know. This is the last truck that we have slotted for this year. So after this truck, we won't see another one until 2023. Hopefully we would see another one this year because things are starting to loosen up a little bit. We're seeing some things change. We're getting some more opportunities from PACCAR. They'll call us every now and then and say, hey, we've got 5 trucks that we weren't expecting to have. Can you sell them? So this was actually one of those trucks. We got a call a couple weeks ago and they said, hey, here's your opportunity. If you want it, take it. So we took it. And it was actually slotted to be a different style of truck, but we changed it over to this Brush Hog. Right before the meeting, I found out about it, and it's the exact same truck you saw down there.
That's the one we'll park out front.
Yep, that's the one that's parked out front. So that one was a T370 cab. This would be a 380. So it's gonna be a little bit different on the cab side of things, but a little more room is basically all the difference is.
Nice truck. Yeah, that's a picture though, dude. Real nice.
Yep. Yeah, we take a lot of pride in what we do and the trucks we sell, and your drivers will be really happy.
So be happy to have one that runs.
Yeah.
Total cost for this one, 207.
207,750, that's right. And that's on our Sourcewell contract through the state. I've listed that Sourcewell contract number up there. So are you guys familiar with Sourcewell? Do y'all purchase?
It's a cooperative.
Yeah, right.
It takes out the bidding process.
Yeah, right.
We purchase with.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Well, let's do it.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming down and talking to us about it, man, and like I say, to see that's the thing that caught my eye, you know, being in Tuscaloosa, you know, just being in an Alabama environment, it made me sick being there.
I know, right?
But walking out there, you know, it was like, that thing opened up and called my name, I was like, shoot.
I wanted to slap an Auburn sticker on.
Or at least the magnets, you can swap it.
Hey, you might not get to see it.
That's why I did it.
But man, yeah, that was a nice truck.
It was,
man.
yeah, I
That
took
was-
some pictures.
wow.
It caught my eye too.
So one of the things that I've noticed, and don't mind of my 2 cents, but a lot of what he's talking about in the buyback program, a lot of the municipalities do that.
Oh, yeah.
So it helps keep your fleet fresh.
Right.
I mean, not just for this Link truck, but in general.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of cities that make money when they sell the
Cities and
trucks back.
counties have been making money for the past 8 years on dump trucks.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, I just sold one of the, what I would consider a poor city in Alabama, Hansville, city of Hansville. They didn't have the budget to buy a brand new triaxle dump truck, which is about a $215,000 truck. But I went to them and said, look, if you'll just trust me and let me sell you this truck, after a year, I will make the city money. And a year, like, that ain't no way, that's too good to be true. I said, trust me, I do it all the time. They're like, So it took me going to a city council meeting, sitting in front of all the councilmen, and I said, and there was a few of them there that were like, no, hands full, too good to be true. And so I showed them the numbers and what we've done
And
for
I
other
can
cities.
vouch for that on other
Right.
municipalities that I've come in contact with their buyback. I'm like, why don't you guys do that?
Right. And Kenworth is the highest reselling truck of any truck on the market. So at this most recent sale, Kenworth dump truck sold for $277,000. 1-year-old dump trucks with 10,000 miles on them, $277,000. So Hansville stands to make right at $100,000 on that truck I sold them because they bought it right before the market went.
And it's part of the buyback.
And it's part of the buyback program, so,
So it basically keeps your fleet fresh and you're not.
Right. Yeah, we sell new trucks every year on a 1-year cycle, and then the program was designed to help counties and cities break even.
Yeah.
They keep the truck under warranty, they don't have to keep it in the shop,
Yeah.
no downtime, and then at the end of it, they sell it for what they paid for it or 10,000 less, and they've still broken even. And they keep brand new trucks for their guys. Well, what it's turned into is they get such a good discount on the programs, plus they avoid the taxes, so they get into the truck with positive equity right away. So after they run it for a year, the trucks are practically brand new, and these contractors are lined up to get an almost new truck for a little bit of a discounted price, and they sell like hotcakes.
And you're not putting 100,000 miles on the trucks. either,
Yeah,
so we're not-
the trucks we see are 5,000 to
Yeah.
10,000,
Just
15 to the
just-
max.
just broke
These are
in,
not
basically.
long
Right.
haul trucks.
Right.
I like it.
We good.
I did send them a text.
Oh, man.
I sent him one too, and haven't heard back from him.
So, no, I think it
On a
was
different
3 minutes
subject.
ago.
We appreciate you, man. I think I've heard enough to, seeing the truck myself.
Cap's license on.
Yeah.
And it's not like we don't need it.
Well,
They take
to me, it's a smart way to go.
Although I did see our old one running today.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I know.
I
saw
saw
that
it.
stuff on
I saw it. It
my
was
street
working.
In that 6 weeks,
That kid just got back up and running this week.
Yes, I
Day
believe that.
before yesterday, I think.
Can't even count
It would be
how much
nice
money we put into that
to get
thing.
an email saying it's up and running. So,
Yeah.
okay, well, want to have anything else for Mr. Pike? You had to come from Birmingham?
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Coleman's where I live.
Coleman.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
what do we do next?
Yeah, I
Does this
do.
take a council resolution, or we've already?
Well, I know we have to bring it back before the entire.
Okay. Well, but we already had a limb truck in the budget, if I remember right. Or did we take it out? The proposed
Well,
budget.
Yeah.
save money from the COVID, I mean,
We just, as Rick said, we have to bring it back and
bring it back.
see exactly how we need to fund it, because since we don't have a
Well,
quote, unquote.
Sounds like we can finance it. Can we do that through them? That'd be a good thing to ask.
Now, he's just gonna get some business cards.
Yeah, that's
I
something,
feel we,
yeah, that's something.
use that COVID money for it, man. It's on, I mean, we'll bring it back and we'll talk about it,
What
whatever.
about finance?
Yeah, we got,
Good to you.
we got a question about finance.
Yeah.
How would that?
So we can help you with that. The way I did it with Hansville, we got some banks that we work with, but they wanted to use a local bank. So they went through one of their local banks. And on the dump truck side, they did the payments in arrears, which wouldn't make sense probably for this deal. But I think it would be something you'd probably just have to talk to your bank about, or we could finance you, through TruckWorks. Either way.
That's what we were really interested in was, do you have a procedure that we could go through? We'll try our local bank and
Right, yeah, we can.
If that doesn't work, we can go.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, whenever I get back to the office, then
What's your percentage right now?
I really don't even know, to be
It
honest. We
changes
don't
every
usually
day.
see that. Our finance team handles all that. I just get the paperwork signed after it's done.
What's the co-op cost on that through Sourcewell? You know,
What do you mean?
usually there's a fee for using cooperatives.
I don't know.
if Sourcewell has one.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
I think it's Sourcewell,
Maybe.
well, there's some at HDAC and Sourcewell, there's different types of co-ops out there, and some of them do have administrative costs
Right.
associated with them.
Yeah.
don't
I think that we cover,
When we purchased that, what was that, the backhoe, what was the last thing we purchased?
That was co-op,
It was Sourcewell.
so it's a
Yeah.
cooperative.
Yeah, that was, 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
George knows.
Be in a second, but,
It hadn't been very long.
yeah, it hadn't been long, but it's just pretty much the agreed upon price and.
yeah, right.
It just-
I think there's a
it's
fee.
great, it just takes out the
I think there's a
bidding
fee, but we pay
Correct.
that fee for using Sourcewell to get it.
Exactly,
But
yeah.
the price you see there is your
process.
price.
So it's not an additional.
Yeah, no, there will be nothing additional
Not with Sourcewell.
to that. The only thing that I would say, and I don't know, what the approval process looks like, you're gonna have to wait till the next meeting or what, but I would,
That's Monday.
Monday,
Oh, I'm sorry, Tuesday.
Okay.
Because we postponed it for graduation.
okay. So this truck, as you can imagine,
High demand.
is
Yeah, everybody asking
extremely
about it.
hot. And we've got multiple deals working, several guys doing exactly what I'm doing right now. So.
With the same
yeah.
truck?
Yeah, same truck, so I'm crossing my fingers. The one that was the most pressing got pushed back a week. So that helped us out a lot because it was Centerpoint, out of Birmingham. And they were actually at the show and they were like, all hands on deck. Everybody came over, they're like, we want that truck. Don't you let it get away. It's just a process. We got it and we won't do it until we have a purchase order in-house. Because I feel like I could do it with you guys, but they won't let me. So, just as soon as you
But
can
if
get
it's
a.
not, if it's not available, what's the timeline on the next available?
So, it's unknown right now. If I told you something, it would just be me telling you what I thought. And what I think is, hopefully we would get another slot before the end of this year. But see, I've got purchase orders in-house for side automated loaders, for other dump trucks that are on this same chassis. So there's basically a backlog at this point. So even if we did get available chassis, it probably wouldn't fall within this year. I think it would probably be, first quarter of 2023 before, another truck would be available. And that's on the truck side, plus you've got the body, the body side, them probably
So
2
this is
months.
available now?
That one will be available in, I think,
Well,
October,
okay,
November.
okay, I was
It
trying to
builds in
figure
July,
Okay,
and
got it.
so we'll get it probably end of July, and then we'll send it to Brush Hog for them to body it up. And, it takes 3 months or so for them to get a body on it, so you're looking like October, November for this one.
I read that, but then I kinda got confused.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else y'all need? Any questions? Okay.
Did George respond to you?
Yeah, I talked to him.
I appreciate it, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yep, thank you. If y'all have any questions between now and then, I'll leave this one too.
We'll let George. Pike, if you don't mind, a few minutes.
Yeah,
Not on
yeah.
the schedule.
No, I'm not.
Street superintendent be here just a few minutes.
Yeah, sure can hang out as long as y'all need me to. I dedicated my day.
I already know how they're gonna go, Mayor.
Mayor, would this be worth having a special meeting?
It's,
To not let it get away?
just whatever the body, I'm good, if it's left up to me, I do it today, but I have to go whatever the body.
Well, we have to give 24-hour notice.
So,
Have a meeting.
I'm good, just whatever the body decide and
Okay.
what we need to do to get with the clerk and make sure we in.
We need the truck, we need the truck, we have an opportunity, we need to do it right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If y'all were to do that, you'd probably get approval to hold the truck through that special meeting. If you were to do it, that quick,
24 hours notice, either the mayor can call me or the 2 council members.
I think we got 2 council members that
Let the mayor
will call it.
call a special
Maybe the
meeting.
mayor will join in us. Okay.
Friday?
the quorum, I don't count.
I don't have a vote, so.
There he is. Hey, Joe Green. How are you?
Friday at noon,
Works for me.
you available Friday at noon?
Yeah, here.
Tight, man. Tight.
Or morning or early, what about,
I mean, 10 is my good time.
10 o'clock Friday morning, that's fine, I'm available.
My schedule clear right now.
10 o'clock Friday morning, that's 25, that's more than 24.
All right, let's write it down so everybody be on the same page. Clerk, if you would do a favor as well, we'll send it out to the rest of the class.
Yeah.
Call over here, see if, here?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh, do it at the council chamber.
yeah.
we should be able to do it up to, yeah.
Council chamber.
Just gonna be just for a few minutes.
Council chamber.
Hey, Superintendent Green.
Well, since I reviewed it for about 30 seconds.
It's a truck.
Yeah, I do see some difference in the one that we currently operating on.
It's old, man.
Well, I'm just, you want me to give you a good answer?
Yeah, we want you,
Okay.
we want a good answer.
Right now, this truck right here, the operator is exposed to the outside element. And, you know, you have to put all these things in consideration. And at the time, when we do look at these trucks, you know, I kind of get a feel from them, because they are the one that operate. So, you know, those factors should be put in consideration. Well, if it's raining, cold, or whatever, standing up position, how does it affect the people's operating, how it affects them? So, I guess you need to give me some time and investigation.
Sounds reasonable.
With that saying, you're saying that your operator maybe kind of check the truck out, get a feel of the truck,
Well, I'm just saying, how much, you know, well, I think, the operator from the side.
The controls on this truck is right behind the driver's compartment on the outside. He'll stand up on, he'll step up on this
On the
platform.
curb side,
Yeah, they get out and then they operate it, so,
Very similar to like all.
some of the things with the operators,
No, they don't get out, you know.
the drivers and things like
No,
that.
they don't get out.
Like it's gonna.
Okay, they don't get an hour, but they operate. What's going on?
Yeah. Mr. Piper, do y'all have a video that they can,
I could probably produce one. I don't know that one exists right this second. But if I call Brush Hog, it's possible that they have a video. So let me,
send us the link where?
yeah, let me send Josh a message. Josh is one of the owners, and he can tell me pretty quick if they have something like that.
I'm just saying from that, it could take some of our operating time. It just need to be put in consideration, due to winter time,
And who's
summertime,
operating?
and who operates.
Yeah.
Those issues need to
George
be talked
Hill,
about. So, have I had several conversations with them before we looked at anything?
That's it.
You know, they the one put out the production, so if they're not comfortable, rain, cold weather, we need, you know, most of them is closed cap. Not so much about the truck or how we gonna put it together or that part of it, but you got your workers out in the other, it's something different. So, I can take this and let them look at it, I don't know what type of decision you're trying to make out of it.
As for right now, let's just, you know, tentatively set the date for a meeting on Friday, like we said. And everybody have the rest of the day to look at this stuff and study it and make calls to anybody you wanna talk to or anything. And then we'll make a decision by first thing tomorrow morning, whether we'll really go ahead with the meeting, you know, see if it's feasible to go ahead with the meeting.
Yeah, because you can cancel a meeting easily.
Yeah, and
The
just go.
only one is harder.
Well, yeah, and I don't necessarily have to extend this out to tomorrow, but,
There you go. Exactly.
so.
Other options on that?
I would say that 100% of the units we sell are exposed units like this. Yeah, I don't,
And to a certain extent, you can pick and choose your day.
right, I think that's probably what most,
Scheduling.
most,
That's gonna
you
be-
know,
Yeah.
people do, but
That falls
That's
under
if you
big-
schedule on a day, but if you schedule on a week, it's different.
I know like Auburn, they do that, like my neighborhood, it'll be tomorrow morning.
Yeah, that's what the big thing, we gotta come up with a schedule for these people, you know, when to put stuff out there, and just put it out there in and all the time.
Yes.
And that way, weather, you know, kind of play by ear as far as the weather and rain and all that stuff, like I
I
said.
tried-
theirs is
I tried to get
inside,
us to
too,
work
so
on
they
that, but I
cover
haven't had any
regardless.
feedback.
Well, I mean, you know, even with the weather situation, I mean, if you got an open cab like this, an open platform like this, and, you know, say you do have, we've been out of the rainy season this year at this time, and you miss 2 or 3 days, and everybody's off whack, and you gotta play catch up, or you gotta just say, pick up on Thursday where I'm supposed to be, and we'll get them next week, you know, so,
Well,
I mean, that's just something to consider, I mean, you know.
That'd be an improvement over what we've been doing.
Well, I understand
You
that.
know.
Yeah, what's kind of conflicting about that schedule now is, you know, we had to do the separation pickup, it's brush and then now debris. Remember, we ran
Yeah.
into that problem, it's not mixed up anymore.
Right, that's what we have to tell people. what the
That
rules
throws
are.
things off. Big part.
We have to tell people what the rules are.
Well, they slowly is catching on to it.
That's
All
another
right,
issue.
Yeah.
all right, let's keep moving, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, let's fight.
Just,
I won't call you back again.
yeah, if you would, just let me know if you want me to. If you feel confident you'll go through with the meeting on Friday, I'll go ahead and see if I can put the unit on hold. If you feel like it's, you know, gonna push out a little further, that's not a problem with me. I just need to know one way or the other,
Yeah.
kind of which direction to go. So,
Yeah.
Mr. Ellis, if you wanna call me after the meeting maybe and just let me know, hey, yeah.
Okay.
All right, yeah, thank y'all. It was nice to meet you guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Be safe going back.
Yes, sir.
So we need to discuss this,
No, so is the limb truck up and running?
the one, and it,
Okay, because I got stuff on my street and throughout my district that's been out there 6 weeks. A lot of the stuff, I think, some of that stuff probably could have been picked up. We got, you know, flatbed, you got other trucks, you got pickup trucks, you got trailers,
all due respect now,
I'm just saying.
We don't have the personnel to be able to do that.
Yeah, see, that
we
takes
don't
people
have
to do that, and it's mowing season, yeah.
It's just impossible. I'm just not gonna sit in here and tell you.
So do you
that
need
we
more
can-
people? Do you hire more people?
Well, it's grass season. I mean, if you think back in the last month, we had Mother's Day, we had holidays, we got primary cemetery, we've had, you know, we got 5 or 6 people cutting right away,
Yeah.
park, we got
And they
park,
needed
we got
it.
the building, we got uptown. I mean, I'm wanting the guys there.
I'm saying, do you need more people?
And it's a pretty skilled position to load that thing with that, with the backhoe.
Again, do you need more people in your
I'm
department?
trying to slowly, Greg can tell you, I'm trying to slowly increase the number, but it's
Is
hard
that yes or no,
to
Joy? Do
find
you need more
somebody to be
people?
able to do this stuff. I don't have to tell you about the job market, there's nobody beating on the door. We actually going back talking to some people that have worked there before, right, Greg? Just to try to get them back here. And, you know.
Now with summer coming, you have kids getting out of school, you can maybe do something with the summer program, help with your situation or something. I mean, some of these kids coming out of high school or kids still in high school old enough to work. You know, we can, look at something like that, that'll help get you through, especially during the summer months anyway. You gotta get creative, guys, you gotta come up, think outside the box a little bit.
Well, I think what is happening too, not trying to take up for George, talking about the job market in general. We talk about being creative. The pandemic taught employees how to be creative and how to make money different ways. You know what I'm saying? So that's,
Sit home and draw and plug in.
yeah, so that's why you got, well, my son, I know he's a little bit older and that's not Lafette, but my son, last couple of years worked at Penny George's or either Willie's Wings during the summer. Well, this year when they called him, he was like, no, because you know why? He's doing DoorDash. You know why? Because he'll make more money and he can decide when he wants to work. Yesterday, he worked from 1 to 4 and made like $95. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, so now he doesn't have that set schedule. It's a reason Valley had way more people than us, but the McDonald's at Valley, the inside is still closed. And it's not closed because they don't want it open, it's closed because they can't get anybody to work. So it's drive-through only. So when you talk about paying somebody $9 an hour, $9.50, I'm just saying. I mean, yeah, you know, out in the heat, you know, they'll go, if you look online, everybody's selling plates now. Everybody cooking something. I got plates over here, like folks find out ways to make money the way they ain't taking this $9 an hour. I mean, it's just a reality of it.
Big, I didn't want to say anything on the limb truck, basically, and I had just talked to Mr. Green, and I didn't want to talk with him here, that, you know, it was something that he and I kind of discussed as far as, you know, the employees being out in the elements, as far as standing out there on the platform, which, you know, we got people that work in the elements all day, but if you got that truck running, you don't expect a man to stand there in the rain or cold either, really, to just, you know, in and out, or either, you know, move 10 feet, you know, down the road, you know, so that is one of the considerations that we need to look at heavily as far as that's concerned. Now, you know, this program it sounds great. I mean, this is the way most people are going nowadays, and like the man said, you ain't gotta ask them, you just go around and see. Everybody's in new or up-to-date trucks, and they're keeping new and up-to-date trucks because they're in this program like this. And it would do good to have that program on our belt to work with. We gotta think about our employees standing there, or, you know, you cut your service in certain kind of weather.
Well, and remember, we could just be talking about 3 years.
If it's in 3 years, it's still gonna be the same thing on Nick, cause he said he was 100% this style truck.
So what,
with no
I got a
cab.
question. Okay, so.
I know what you say, go ahead.
Go ahead and say it, man. I mean, that's why we're here, man.
So I guess we're just gonna look at the calendar, look at the almanac, and when to make sure we're just gonna work when the sun is out, when it ain't raining, or when it ain't cold. We just shut down during the winter and just do summer months.
So it gets too hot.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this, Mike, most companies that got this truck, I've been doing a little research on it, I do a little bit more research than you probably think, that use these type trucks is the people, can say not on the schedule like we operate. Just like he was saying, that truck leaves that shop every morning, first thing leave, and it runs all day. So, most of the time you see this, these tree surgeons use this type truck. So, at a good point, they're not loading all the time, they just kind of load at isolated times, they go there and load once they get in all the material down. They're not kind of like going down the street. Most municipalities that you see don't have trucks. The car have, not only that, when you're going down the street, you know, the person got to get in and out of this truck every house just about. If it's 2 people on the truck, they can't ride back here. So you look at the situation, they got to get up, get down, get up, get down. And maybe some of the major cities don't have their limbs sticking all out over the truck or hanging out. And then possibly if somebody gets slapped in the eye or something like that. So it's a closed cab situation, even the ones we look at in most of the municipalities, even at the company that Raymond builds down there. They build them in closed cab to make it kind of comfortable for the person to be able to operate. Even when you don't even have, now the one we looked at has an air unit in there to blow some air. We got the little small fan thing in there. But if you get yourself in something 4x4 and don't hardly have a window in it, it's not comfortable. You can't operate and work as comfortable as it is if you sitting out of the elements of the wind. Or if we leave the shop at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the wintertime, the average high around here is 40 miles per hour. I mean 40 degrees. It's cold in the morning time. Now, I'll be honest with you, I don't feel comfortable exposing nobody out that kind of weather. I wouldn't want to do it myself, so I don't feel like that we should ask nobody to work out in the hot. Now, we comes in the morning at 6:30 to beat the heat, so they get more done from 6:30 to maybe 11:30. That's why we changed those hours, because it's extremely hot out there. So we kind of adjust the hours. But I wouldn't want nobody after 12 o'clock out in the middle of this 98 degrees out here, exposed with nothing on top of your head. I don't think that's a good conscious decision, even try to entertain and even thinking about it. I'm not saying it's not a good truck, but you know, we gotta think about the employee. They're making $11, less than $12 an hour. That's a lot to ask for them.
I think too, we're gonna look at too, then we talked about one time too, about waste management, somebody else, you know, they provide this service also, we can look at other options too.
I reached out to them and they said they know.
They won't do it?
Yeah, they won't do the limbs, you know. That's why on the garbage side, they're going to the truck with the arm, because they're saying they don't wanna deal with.
I was unpredictable to figure out how much they're gonna pick up on bulk material. But, you know, garbage, they can kind of understand how much weight that container hold at each household, but the bulk material side of the road, you know, half of it don't come from the field, half of it somebody done tore down and shit. So they probably look on that, they work on it.
Yeah, Opelika uses that style truck that we're looking at, and they come on Wednesdays. But then you also get charged a penalty if you leave your stuff out too early,
But they probably got
or you don't bring the
3 or
trash
4
can
down.
back in.
Yeah, you
You get charged for that.
Yeah.
But that, I believe that's the style Opelika does, where the guy gets out, every house, climbs up, does his thing, gets back down, goes back up another street, gets out, does the same thing. So it's a lot of up and down.
Then you gotta have some CDL drivers.
You have to have CDL drivers, and I think one of the trucks I saw actually has a little umbrella that comes over the top. It opens up where he's protected from the sun.
We got one CDL driver,
Yeah.
so then we gotta start.
That, I think, is a requirement,
Yeah.
DOT requirement.
And that's another thing, you know, it's hard to find a CDL driver, you know, they can go make $1,200 a week, and then we paying them, you know, $13, $14 an hour. It's hard to find. I mean, we beat the bushes, I'm not gonna jive, it's hard to find.
Do you have CDL? Do your,
No.
anybody else in your department have CDL? What about, you got a program where you train
But we
people?
work, kinda working with the light department.
Somebody else to get, I mean,
Yeah.
encourage other guys, you know, not just be one, depend on one person to drive the truck. He gets sick or something happens to that person, they leave, you're stuck. This would be an incentive or something we can, you know, other than what I've seen, $1 here, 50 cents a quarter, that ain't worth, you know, somebody having a CDL. We need to look at maybe it's some type of incentive or encourage other people to get their CDL. So they can do, more than one person can do more than one thing involving a commercial truck.
Well, maybe we need to give it an incentive for step with pay, you know, if you get this, you get more money. You get that. It's all about dollars and cents that even, you know.
You
we
ever
got
thought about
the
getting your,
personnel
you
we
the
got here now.
superintendent, or what about you getting your class B?
Well, I got enough duties, I mean, I'm on the truck.
I'm just saying, just in
What
case.
happened with the other duties?
I'm saying, have more than one person.
I think we talked about that in the drawer.
What's that?
CDL, about the CDL license part. I one of the things, when I first come in, we talked about how many people had CDL. I think the whole department, street department, the electrical, the whole, I think 2 people, you know, and that's not enough. So whatever we need to do for that process, we need to get on that as well. I think that one of
And I
the
think
things-
we can start talking to current employees to try to go through that process.
Yeah.
But then what's gonna happen though, is when they go through the process, while, so they're gonna stay for a little while, and somebody gonna tell me, you know, what you see there, you can go over here and make this much, they're gonna leave anyway. So then it go back to the point of, you know what,
They get paid.
across the board here, we underpaid, and we currently in a negative budget with the underpaid employees. You know. But,
We
you
left
know,
the email, what they can make.
I mean, that's just the reality of the situation, you know, we, at some point, you know, hey, it's about pay.
At some point, the whole point right now is about that.
Pay more you charge. I just don't get it.
But I don't know, Mike, whether you've seen the one we went and looked at, I know it's an older vehicle. We would have two. Like the one we got now, we can't hardly take it off, take it to South Alabama for maintenance for a week, you know, because then we out again without anything to back it up. We're not having as much problem with the boom part.
I'm just, I got nothing to say on it. Y'all do whatever you wanna do. I mean, like I said,
Well, we-
I was in favor of getting this truck. I'm still in favor of getting this truck. I mean, we work out the other details, you know. I understand, I consider about the employees, I take that into consideration too, but at some point, you know, you gotta say, you know, guys, or, you know, I think overall that's a great deal. We need a new truck, need a service, I mean, you know, them getting in and out, or, like I said, stuff been on the streets now for over 6 weeks. Stop, you know, what are we gonna do? You know, we're gonna keep, you know, that truck go down again today, you're gonna let it sit there for another 3 or 4 weeks until we get that thing back up and running again?
Okay, there's nothing that keeps us from keeping the old truck too.
Right, we
Well,
have that.
We can-
We planned that.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we can use that if the weather's bad enough.
Yeah, you got the old truck, you know, still.
Well, that might
Give them the
be-
proper, give them good equipment, I mean, uniform and stuff, they got that, the raincoat, I mean, cold weather gear, I mean, that ain't stopping other people out in the element working.
And one of the things we talked
You
about.
know, they can't make, use that as an excuse.
It's a buyback program.
You know, you got a chance to get a brand new truck and,
But the option, the thing about it, I just stepped in this meeting like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've been out of town last week looking for something else. Then 10 minutes ago, then I get this from, so I really don't have any, you know, I'm not saying it's not a good program,
Yeah.
but to be just,
You're doing the right thing to bring up these points.
yeah, I mean,
We need to know
these are
that.
the guys that operate. They know more better than what I know, what they run into.
Well, here's my suggestion. Let's go ahead and schedule a meeting, okay? Mr. Green will get information together. We'll all think about it. And we'll go ahead and have a special meeting, one topic, right? And it can be quick. Give Mr. Green a chance to bring us up to date on his feelings, and then we can decide. Does that sound good?
So right now, we just keep it as scheduled for Friday at 10.
And give us time to think about the different points of view that we've heard.
Put that down, Mr. Green, Friday, this Friday at 10.
Yeah.
Be prepared.
What type of program was this? You know, I'm like,
It's all, it's on that sheet over there.
Yeah, he was basically saying the price of that, and guarantee it 3 years, you sell it back to the buyer after that. Maybe something else.
See, and that way we could use this for 3 years. And we'd see how bad it was, how big the problems were, and we can get rid of it, okay, at a reasonable price. And, do something different if we want to. It's an option.
He said
yeah,
it's a
rather
guaranteed
the
price.
folks see us doing something to alleviate the child complaints. I mean, I'm telling you, I don't know about you other guys, but I've got so many complaints about this stuff on the streets. And you look at the condition of, you ride throughout the city, you know, debris everywhere.
Yep.
I mean, doing something, you know.
Well, you know, my mind was, just yesterday, I was out working, and my mind was on, we've got to do something that make the people of Lafayette see that we're doing more than coming to a meeting every 2 weeks
Yeah.
and talking and hee-hawing back and forth and stuff like that. You know, we gotta have something physical going on in this town.
Well, the fire department, fire and EMS, we just signed up for Adopt a Highway, Adopt a Mile program. We partnered up with Chambers County. We're gonna be doing County Road 83 at 50 Junction, all the way down to County Road 89. So we actually filed paperwork to adopt that section of road. We also, if that's successful, we wanna do something in the city limits. I mean, that's technically our response area, but, you know, something to designate where we adopt a mile. So if that fire and EMS goes out and cleans up a portion of road, you know, to show what you're talking about, us doing something.
Yeah, and that, you know, getting people involved is very important in things like this. And one thing I noticed, I sent out surveys to my people, and one of the things I asked them about, one of the questions I asked them to answer, was whether they thought it hurt the city's image to have garbage cans left out on the side of the road all week. And most people said they thought that was a bad thing. There were people who were concerned about the elderly, but you know, we've got a rear pickup option for people who can't move. But you know what? Throughout my district, you see fewer garbage cans. Because people got it in their heads that this was a bad thing for the city.
Well, I've always said that.
I know, but bringing it to people's attention, and it was subtle, I just asked them a question, and you could see the difference.
And some municipalities charge you a fine.
Here's
some do.
the way I sell it as far as not liking that. That's the welcoming mat to your house, the trash can.
Yeah.
That's the first thing they see when they drive up at your house, is the
Exactly.
trash can.
Exactly, and
You know?
people
I'm
will
actually
react to
surprised some of
that.
these ones on Avenue A actually even stay up,
Yeah.
because they're right by the road.
It's
and
not enough,
You ain't got a lot of
not
wiggle
enough,
room on.
not enough wind to move them off the side of the road.
Yeah, but a lot of them are, when I
Yeah.
drive, you see them laid down on the
Some is
side.
laid down, yeah.
But I mean, most municipalities charge you, if your pickup is on Wednesday and your garbage can's out there Thursday morning, there's $10, please.
Hey,
Yeah, yeah, but you know what I'm saying. I mean,
yeah,
there's-
I got you.
there's-
And I don't disagree with anything that, like that. It's just a matter of people in place to take care of things like that. And we don't have people in place to take care of things like that, so, you know,
But
we
just-
can make it an ordinance
Just-
right now, but
Nobody to
what good
enforce
would it do?
Yeah.
Enforce it like the rest of them.
Yeah.
But no, just making people aware, just like you were
that-
saying,
yeah,
just, you know, do you
yeah.
really want people to be welcome to your house by a garbage can?
Oh, yeah,
You know, I mean, just tell them,
That's my mindset.
But it's actually amazing, even driving back home, all the garbage cans are
That's
gone.
my mindset, though.
Once they're out,
I mean, I
they're
can't
gone.
stand it,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
It chaps me, man, to see them sitting there.
yeah.
I mean,
Again, I'm surprised some of them stay standing up.
And I think too, on, Lafette Street, with 50, I mean,
That's what.
you got people, I mean, that's people in and out, the stuff, debris from the trucks and all. We wait on DOT to come in and cut the grass. I think we need to implement, within the city limits, we need to start cutting that grass more often ourselves. And
Well, sometimes we-
street sweeper or something to sweep up, you know, all the way from the light at Jack's, all the way through town, man, all up around the courthouse, all the way through, you got, the street looks so nasty, and people see that, man.
Yeah.
That's,
Well, actually, I saw Georgia's guys out there at 50 and,
We worked on that today. I see the same thing.
they're out there with the blowers, but I mean, you can see the amount of dust they're kicking up when they're
This
doing
morning.
it.
We have to come in, you know, early to do that, so much traffic on Avenue A.
But I think we should try to, the Adopt a Mile program is pretty popular across the state of Alabama, and it gives agencies pride. I mean, some of the galleries and photos that they got with the groups from the churches and the schools, having a good time picking up trash.
old street sweeper or something, I don't know if we ever had one, but
We are.
you use those at night or late at night, or
Mhm.
after you're in town, yeah, we had the street sweeper come through and,
No, we used to have one.
Yep,
yeah, we had them years ago, they'd come through the street, you know, late at night or and what's traffic and what's going on, they go all around the square or up and down, you know.
But
sweep.
I think what I'll do in you guys' package, I would drop, a list of all the facilities that we could. The number of personnel that I got, part-time, full-time. And then you'll probably kind of get a better understanding of what we can, you know, do the X amount. Like summertime, we can all do patching and paving. Cause the guy, the one CDL driver I got, that drive the living truck, I gotta send him to Opelika, to Valley. So that stops there.
That's why you need more than one
We
CDL.
got one bush hog in Tyler for this whole city for right away for light department, water department, one 5-foot bush hog, and we have cut all this grass. It goes out to the and water plant, which is, those plants is acres and acres. Same guys, we got another extra park, we got another extra building, we got the medical park there. You got 6 available guys to do all these, put up signs and get tore down every week. We assisting with animal control. You know, we doing animal control. We reading meters. Same
Reading
6
meters, why y'all
guys.
reading meters? I mean, you're.
Well, they needed assistance with reading meters. So sometimes you see me telling you, we can't get this done. We can't get it done. I'm designing the cemetery, we paving the roads.
I know, in my district still, we
You
still
know,
got
I worked
potholes.
at 6:30 for the last 2 or 3 nights, you know. Me and Mr. Mike was at the cemetery last night at 6:30.
What if we,
Well, we're gonna, overall, the whole situation here, and the problem is lack of employee, to be honest with you. And that's something we just gotta address.
And we're not the only ones that are suffering
Right,
from that.
right.
You know, they were saying about McDonald's having their lobby closed.
Yeah.
I was at Burger King last week and they were closed too. Their lobby was closed too.
And they started you off at $12 an hour.
Yeah.
15, and they still can't get nobody.
Hey, Mr. Green,
Yes, sir.
It's been mentioned earlier back, a few weeks and months back, but I think the jail is giving up people. I think if that could be a source for you to, you know, aid you a little bit on what you're trying to do. And the reason I'm saying it like that is battling the necks up and down the road every day at the same time, and I know that's what they're going to.
Picking them up.
Yeah.
Now, are we responsible for them, or do they have sheriff's?
no, we're
No,
the city.
there are people who trusted to be out there, you know, basically.
Right.
You know,
I
so
just
we-
didn't know
we-
if we were responsible
No,
for
we
the
should-
supervision.
Well, we are.
Yeah.
We're responsible for them. We bring them in, we bring them back, and,
So we go out
you
with
know,
6, you come back with 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but we don't wanna get no
Well,
sick.
well, here's the problem. Okay, I got 2 available vehicles, pickup trucks, than the one that I'm riding. One is a crew cab, 2001, the other one is a Ford, 2004. So now, if I got, we ride around on Kubota most of the time, because we ain't got an extra vehicle. If I got 4 inmates, how we gonna move them?
Well, listen, we'll talk about that, man. I just
Well, if
threw
you
it out.
get inmates, then you
I
don't
just,
have any room.
well, I understand that, but I just threw that out. I didn't know we had a transportation issue also. We'll talk about it.
The pickup truck that's sitting there, that used to be animal control, code or whatever, that truck just sitting there all day. I
That
mean,
truck-
it's a city
that
vehicle,
truck
what's wrong with that?
belongs to the police department, she
But
grants
still,
for that.
you give it to the mayor, that's what I'm
I
saying.
gave it back.
The mayor, just give it to the mayor.
Yeah,
That truck just
don't
sitting
worry about it.
there.
We'll get together on it, man. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about
That
it.
truck
You know,
just
I just wanna throw that option out that you may get a, you know, a little bit
It's
of a
some good stuff to
workforce
talk
there.
about, and I'm glad
Since
we're
you're doing
talking
animal
about it.
control too, I mean, get that truck and you can use it in
No,
your
he's
food.
trying to get away.
We trying to get
They
them
need
back
to pull
out
away.
there.
Well, put us in animal control, but if you need that truck to use for your day-to-day, I mean, your guys to get,
Truck
get,
been sitting there for 3 months.
I'm saying, getting inmates and, I mean, the truck just sitting there, I mean, you get with the mayor,
There's a
use
decision
that
that the
truck.
council need to make on the use of some of these vehicles, and I think, you know, with this being brought up, I
Something
think
simple
it's
as that, the
something
mayor can
we're
authorize
just-
him to do that.
We're
I
just
mean-
going to go on and say some stuff and be done with it,
Yep.
as far as the use of some of these vehicles we got sitting around idle every day.
Yeah, just sitting
There's
there, I
also,
mean,
there's also the possibility of just working within walking distance of the jail.
Well, you can only do that maybe once or 2 days a week.
I understand,
Yeah.
but you could,
Right.
you could start,
Yeah.
you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
clean
Oh,
up the
yeah. For
courthouse
sure.
square,
Yeah.
okay? And then you can go out
Yes,
west.
that's right,
You
you're
know,
right.
right.
You
You're
can,
right.
you can go a couple of blocks, you know, go.
Right, you
in
go
all-
a
in
little
all
ways
directions.
out
You
for
can
walking.
go down to Third Avenue
Yeah.
on that side, you know,
You're right.
that's walking distance, you know.
Walking
You
distance is east side,
And
with no problem,
wheelbarrows,
you know?
So some of, it can be done.
Yeah. We'll talk about it.
I'm gonna put the engineer on there to try to help me
Just keep on, man, every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Yeah, I gotta go.
I'm on the clock, we don't want to talk.
If I had somebody that operate the bush hog every day.
Let's go. I'm here
we-
next
We
one.
normally cut it.
All right, guys, we're gonna move on to the next topic.
Y'all need me anymore?
We're
No,
good.
you were good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, let's, I think, one of the things we're going to talk about too, with code enforcement, let's get to that right quick. That's something. Hey, that's something important too.
What about until they hire somebody or whatever it is, can you get one of the guys that's already there at the police department during the day?
Doesn't have to be a police officer.
Yeah,
Right, don't have to be a police officer.
yeah,
So that's what we were talking about, was an option.
yeah.
Have it not be a police officer, okay? And we were talking about having to do other things, well, business licenses. Help people get their business licenses and then check to see if they have business licenses and they can be doing some code enforcement inspection at the same time.
Well, before we get too deep into that, guys, let me say this. So, I'm not 100% sure if we're gonna allow Mr. Green to hire somebody in the position that he's trying to hire somebody. Do we think or realize that's gonna be a full-time, 8 hours a day, 4 hours a week job where they need to be right there? Because see,
You talking about for the cemetery?
for the stuff that George is doing. See, here's the thing about it, Mr. Hunter, what we're talking about.
What stuff, I'm sorry?
The stuff is for what George wanna hire somebody for. The things he wanna use somebody for.
Administration
He's
or
talking
paperwork.
about somebody to help with the cemetery paperwork, yes.
Okay, paperwork, that's what I'm saying. Man, I'm not trying to be funny. I go up there now, and I guarantee you, within 4 to 6 months, I got it down pat. I ain't doing shit. You see what I'm saying?
I understand.
Because this city ain't operating enough.
He doesn't need a full-time person.
That's what I'm
Okay,
doing.
but that's what we were talking about at one point, was to combine these jobs.
That's what I'm trying to go with,
Yeah,
what I'm trying to say.
okay, good.
So
We're on the same-
if we're gonna allow him to get somebody, we've got to be in control of the job situation as to how much he really need them, or how much we allow. See,
To me,
you can bring a person in his department and say, okay, you're gonna use this person 4 hours a day, 5 days a week. Or you say you use this person 3 hours, whatever, just a
Yeah.
range of time frame. And then we're gonna use them here to do also. But see, now, for whatever reason, we don't allow him to advertise a certain way. And you can't hold, if they hire that person right now, you can't hold that person,
well,
basically to
we
nothing else.
advertised for a part-time person, if I remember right.
I don't
I
know.
I know that's what we're,
Part-time
I thought that was the decision we made, that part-time, it would be a part-time
I'm not
person
so
up
sure.
at the cemetery.
I'm checking.
Well,
Part-time,
it will be higher. I
We
would-
talked about hiring a student possibly.
Well, that was Councilwoman Williams'
I understand,
idea.
that was her idea, but I think we agreed that we would give preference to a student.
Well, I tell you,
I don't
this,
care
they're
who he
not
hire,
stable.
but whoever he hire, he need to hire somebody that can get out there with a weed eater.
That's what
that
I
can
said
run a
from day
lawnmower.
one.
The best,
So I'm just saying, if
I
they're
think-
gonna be on the street department, the way he talking about, he ain't
I
got
think they
time,
should
he ain't got
be-
no people to
I
do
think they
this,
should be
do
in the
this,
clerk's
do that.
department. Okay, I think that whole process should be in the clerk's department.
He's got it advertised as a part-time clerical for street cemetery building
We
inspections.
need more
Yeah.
people.
Mayor, we need to stop that, because I'm
Okay.
here to tell you now. You're gonna put a person in a position, and that's what they come here to do, and you ain't gonna get nothing else out of it. I said from day one, we need somebody, I asked in the meeting, is this person gonna be able to go out there in the cemetery and work physically? Those square markers, plot markers. George ain't gotta go out there. Let that person go out there today and set those markers. They're gonna learn what to do anyway. So he and George, she and George, whoever, could go out there and do it. But you see, the way this thing's setting up, we trying to hire another, office person, straight out. We ain't gonna get no, so just say this. Paperwork ain't gonna be important every day of the week, that you gotta be there 8 hours or 4 hours a day to get it done all that time. So, George, you got a guy out, bring that person, put them out there today.
Exactly.
They can get their stuff done tomorrow. There's some days it's gonna rain when ain't none of y'all out there doing that.
That's what I'm saying, that's what I'm talking about, that what gets me, when we talking about that truck, putting the person exposed to the element. When it rains, they all stay in the shack, they get paid 8 hours a day, they sitting out, ain't doing nothing. But even when the sun is out, they riding around 4 or 5 in the truck deep, ain't doing nothing. So, I mean,
This-
that's what gets me, you know.
This gets back to something else, and that is tracking time of what people do. There are modern systems where you can, instead of clocking in the time clock, you use your cell phone. Okay? And you have work order numbers associated with different tasks. So if you're working in the cemetery, you clock in on a certain thing in the cemetery. If you're in the streets and sanitation department and you're helping out the electrical department, you charge in, you clock in on the electrical department work order number. That way we would know where the money's going and what people are doing. Whereas right now, we have no idea. That, and you can, I've seen they offer free trials on those things. We could get some volunteer to try it out. And not even officially tracking real things, but you know, job A, job B, job C, job
Fire and
A.
EMS is already looking at an updated time card program, but again, that would go in line with us in our database, the time card system.
Yeah.
But it would generate your Excel sheet with your hours of employees, and you can code
And
them
what
in
they-
to be certain
Different
areas,
tasks.
certain topics.
And
whether
that way
it's
you know,
EMS
we
calls,
know
fire
where the
calls,
money is
things like
going. Because, you know, I once asked how much we'd spent on the community house. Well, we know how much we spent on materials, but the labor is just a guess.
And we still haven't done enough.
Well, or we've done what we were supposed to, and we're being accused of not having done enough. I still don't know what the truth is on that either.
So,
Okay, but anyway, these things all run together. If we don't know what's going on, you know, and I've heard complaints about truckload of guys sitting down by the sewer there on Finley Creek, down south of Crestview area, sitting down there not doing anything, okay? Just relaxing in the shade. I've heard stories of that. I haven't checked it out. I've been down there once to see what it looked like, but there was nobody there. So you hear all kinds of stories like that. But until we have some kind of a system, so that way you know where people are. By the way, these things will also track location. So if they say they're working in the cemetery and you find out that they're at Jack's, you have a problem. So these modern systems are coming available, and they would be a real help to us.
I don't disagree with that. And I think that, you know, if there's a trial thing out there,
Free trial.
a free trial with no
No strings attached.
holdings to it, you know, cut and dry, you know, I think, you know, it may be good to even, you know, just entertain it, just to see. I mean, because of all the departments that you could do it in would be the street department.
That'd be a good one,
You know,
because they
I mean-
work on some of everything.
So, you know, I think, you know, that could be something that we could entertain on a free basis, you know, 30 days, 60 days, or whatever the case may be, and just see how it works. Now, in no belittling anybody, you know, but one thing we gotta remember is sometimes the quality of people we have, are they capable of operating a damn telephone to move from one point to another?
That's right.
Now,
That's
you
one
know,
thing you'd have to
that's
test.
just, now, some people may just, you know, say, I can't do it, or I don't wanna do it, or just whatever. You know, if it's in your workforce, you gotta do it. You know, even if your buddy there gotta move you from spot A to spot B,
Yeah.
you know, it's gotta be done. So, you know, I mean, a trial period, if we can look into it and see.
And see, it doesn't even have to, the part of the trial doesn't even have to be real workers.
Well,
You
they
know,
don't
just-
even- well-
It could be us.
Yeah.
You know, and we'd clock in and for doing different tasks
Mhm.
for a week and see how it comes out.
Yeah, that's fine, I mean.
And then you try it out with some real workers
Well,
and see if they can.
let's see what we can find on that stuff, and let's see what's, you know.
oh, and for now too, I remember once before, we brought up about, you know, them having daily log sheets,
Mhm.
you know, the employees.
Yeah,
Feel like
you
individually
described it,
or-
where
Man,
you work.
I got information out there in my truck, I done brought some paperwork to everything that we do on the school bus.
Mhm.
I don't care if it's replacing a headlight, I don't care if it's basically, you know, even putting air in a tire
Mhm.
on a driver roll up and say, hey, my tire's low. all right, you give me a work order. They give me a work order, I go check on whatever they tell me is wrong. I sign off, go to the office, and you see, here's the best thing I've learned
I work
about
like
that.
that too.
Here's the best thing I learned about that is that you can always go back and track the same kind of situation. This driver came in here last month with a low tire, and we done checked all the tires, but 30 days later, this driver's back, but they ain't coming but every 30 days. So what's happening between day 15 and 30? They ain't checking them. That's the reason you come back in 30 days and tell me they low. We just worked on seats on your bus, this same seat, and you're telling me it wasn't done or something's wrong with it. No, we go pull paperwork. Let me tell you how much we track stuff. We put a set of brakes on the bus. We don't expect to put brakes on in 12,000 miles. We've had a driver we had one driver come in with 10,000 miles on his bus. He don't wore out a set of brakes. Wore them out.
I'm sure school buses are hard on brakes, because they're always,
No,
they're always
it ain't.
stopping.
The drivers.
The driver's hard.
Well, but-
No, let me.
The driver can make it worse.
No. The man, this day and time, everything about a school bus is just like a car.
Okay.
Easy. When a driver got to stop at that wall, when he decide he gonna start stopping at the end of the table, and he gotta be a complete stopper, he wearing our brakes.
That's what does it, okay,
He wearing them out fast.
okay,
That's what we know those drivers.
okay.
But not only that, you're also justifying your man hours.
That's right.
Yeah,
So even though,
see, that kind of
Yeah,
information
it-
is important.
yeah,
And
you
it's
see,
important
we
in
don't
the
feel
city,
like
too.
the man-hour situation is ever gonna come into play.
However,
But if
it did.
it did, you got a leg to stand on, see,
Yeah,
That's
honestly,
just-
if they- say, I got my in the cemetery cutting, we was out there 4 hours just doing this, or we over here, that way, it's now, we over on Avalon doing whatever, but
Your
then.
phone said you was on Avalon, or,
Right.
your location said you was on
And
Avalon.
you get right at Avalon, like, ain't nothing been cut or no
Yeah.
grass, and nothing been picked up out here, just hold them accountable, man.
Good idea.
Yeah, and just
They
knowing,
turn them in at the end of the day, end
knowing
of their
that you
shift.
can get,
like
that
we
people
did
can
police.
check on it.
You do your daily log, I mean, you
Yeah,
don't have,
paperwork,
you
yeah,
got
paperwork,
paperwork, you got
I
a
got
paper
it.
trail, that'll make people, that'll motivate them, they'll
But
start
also, if
working.
we had an office program where all the departments were in this, you could go to your
Yes.
computer and plug up and look
Yes.
at like power, look at streets, look
Yes.
at fire, EMS,
Yes.
those kind of things, and then direct deposit, all those hours.
Oh,
are-
yeah,
it's
direct
put
deposit.
in. That's my guy's biggest
Something
complaint,
better.
is direct
Yeah.
deposit.
Yeah.
I got guys that are coming in from, Wedowee and
To get their paychecks.
coming and get their paychecks.
I think we're working
Man, we
on
done
it.
talked
I
about
thought
that
we
some
worked on
time.
that.
We
We
done-
somebody's trying that, they trying that with somebody.
Not sure.
Yeah,
I know they
somebody,
talked about it.
somebody is, it may be the people at City Hall, they working on trying to do the program.
I think so, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I mean, 'cause it
I'm
changed.
not talking
Yeah.
to us about it,
It is.
Yep.
because I thought it was already done when I came
Yeah.
back and I
No.
see. it.
Because like when we do time cards now,
Like,
everything
I
is,
feel like
everything is
4
done
hours.
manually. I have to go through everybody's time card
Here's
and
the-
calculate
I
that.
have a problem with our time clock system because we
Yes.
have different time clocks throughout the city.
Yes.
And I've already talked to Lewis as to saying, hey man, y'all, as for your lady working in the office, she will need to see a different setup of a time card coming across her desk every 2 weeks. She need to see one group of time cards all performing the same way, So I brought that up to him and, he mentioned he was gonna look into that situation.
Well, there was one with the biometrics thing, but it also calculates, it gives you a spreadsheet of all your man hours. Right now, I have to manually do it for all my employees every week.
Everything about time card is done double basis.
Yes, yes.
Everything's double,
Yeah.
Well, I got this down for when I have a meeting, department here, about the daily log sheet for each individual. That'll hold us up until.
To get an automated system, yeah.
So I got that.
I mean, we can still use the time card system, but it will all depend on whatever software we have that is compatible. Because it generates an Excel spreadsheet for the pay period, and that gets uploaded into the system, but it has to be compatible.
So the code enforcement, so, I
Well,
think we
see-
got off track.
Yeah, we were well, what we were talking about was the part-time employee that Mr. Green has asked for, that we advertised for. And these other jobs, none of which are full-time jobs. You know, code enforcement, business license.
Yeah, I got that down. So,
Like there was-
so we want our code
Seems
We
enforcement.
need to group this job, we need to group
So
it.
the code enforcement
One job.
officer should
Mhm.
have different, I guess, different job description up on that type, that type. Code enforcement, but he's gonna be doing
See,
multiple jobs.
Do we have a canine officer?
No,
yet?
no,
So we don't,
no. See, that's, here's the thing, what we're talking about, code enforcement,
That's George Green.
business license, and it's one other one that probably be under the same umbrella.
The cemetery,
It
the
was
cemetery
something about
administration.
bookkeeping, administration.
Yeah,
See, that could employ
those three,
a full-time job,
and,
you know,
yeah.
that could employ a full-time.
Yeah,
job.
and remember that business license person has to guide people through the process too,
Mhm.
which is something they don't get right now. So, you know, that, to me, all that, the actual bookkeeping of the business licenses and issuing them, but also helping people get their business licenses.
Mayor, think about this, we need to stop letting people run ads for jobs unless we
Approve it.
approve it and
Yeah.
we're clear on what we want.
Exactly.
You see, because the way I see it right now, we've allowed Mr. Green, well, I didn't think it was gonna happen that quick. That he was gonna go out there and advertise for a job, and, you know, we need to fill some
Well,
positions.
He does need somebody to do that work.
I understand he
Okay.
needs somebody to do that work, I have no,
Yeah, I know, we're not arguing about
yeah,
that, but yeah.
that work, I'm gonna tell you this, I'm not gonna be in a position to where I don't utilize somebody beside me.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Cause in saying that, over here at work, man, I'm not the man in charge over there.
Right.
But there's so many people come there think, go to your money. Whoa, wait a minute, I'll tell you what your money know, but now I'm gonna tell you, the head man is over yonder. You need to go talk to him in the end.
Yeah.
Now, I know a lot about what I'm talking about, but it ain't my place to make the call on it.
Right.
Now, in their position, they could be in a position to where they may, suppose George is out. Y'all think about it right now, if George is out of work, what's gonna happen?
We're in trouble.
We're gonna be in trouble.
You don't know what duties, responsibility,
We gonna
his
be in
number
trouble.
two person, he don't
He
have a
don't
seat,
know.
he don't know, what I'm saying. We got people I'm just working, man, you can tell by the way they walk around the uniform, how they wear the uniform, they don't give, I mean, no pride and no professionalism, no, you know, we have more excuses when you say something about, they see how nasty these streets are and stuff everywhere, and there's no excuse for those limbs and that stuff to be sitting on the side of people, in front of people's properties for 6 weeks, more than 6 weeks now.
Well,
When you got all these trucks and trailers and
Well-
everything, you
you
know.
couldn't lay in my yard that long, cause I know what's gonna happen.
Well,
when they
after
move.
3 weeks for
The
me,
grass is
after 3
dead.
weeks, yeah, that's why I went in,
They
after 3
wouldn't stay
weeks,
in my
I went
yard
ahead and
anymore.
drug
I had
all
to
them
move.
limbs, I had cut to the back and burned them, man, because I knew it was killing my grass out there. And that's been 3 weeks ago, and it's,
Good thing they didn't catch you
and it's,
burning them.
and it's still there.
I burn all the time, I got a spot in my yard, I burn.
Me too.
Well, I've been tempted to
I
do
mean,
that.
I do, I mean,
Yeah.
I got a spot up in my yard, I burn, I got a hose pipe that'll reach the burn area.
That's
That's
and
what
all
I
that
said too.
kind of stuff.
We're not allowed to burn, are we?
you can burn it, though, you have a permit, it's in those.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I better get a permit.
I mean, you know, and, I mean, it ain't like I'm building I ain't got an 8-foot stack out there, you know. I got, you know, debris that's this high, but if anybody called the fire department on me, hell, it's gonna be burnt up before they get down there. You know, so, oh, guys, y'all come put this out, you know, let me help you. Don't get your shit off the truck. I get my whole.
It's a warming fire.
Yeah, you know, yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, the advertisement, as we can see, is out there, so.
Well, that's all right.
Well,
That-
we can pull that and just cancel that and, or whatever needs to do.
Well, but it might bring in the kind of person that you're interested in for this other job, for all
Well,
of
you
us.
can always hold up and don't just.
Till we get a
You-
full
you
understanding.
just hold up and don't hire. You got everything you need in that, you know, what you think. What you need to do is, kinda like we do, amend what you're doing to see if you can feel and talk about the legal aspects of getting it filled. with that same person.
Yeah, 'cause-
Well, you can always interview,
We're
you
gonna
can
have,
try to-
we're gonna have 5 opening on the one topic. So, you know.
Yeah. All right,
I have something on here, say website, what was that?
Updating our website, keeping it updated. I mean, right now, the last time I looked at it, which was, I think, last week or the week before, there was still a notice about boiling your drinking water from months ago.
when you see, and that's that same person that could do,
Exactly.
Yeah, who's
That same
doing it
thing.
now? Is it the IT folks that do that?
I don't even know who the IT
We
people
got
is.
it
I don't
through,
know. Who was told
that
me?
was done through CCDA.
Anyway, yeah, that was
When they
another-
did their rebranding and all
remember.
that, they
That's the other
designed that
job.
website for us
yeah,
and all that.
that's the
And
other
that was
job
it,
right
but I
there.
don't know who,
Just think,
I mean, that should be something we can
yeah,
control.
Yeah.
somebody wanna buy a business license, somebody wanna, any information about the
putting up-
city.
Put out
Putting
weather
up the
alerts,
agenda for the
shelter
council
information.
meetings.
Yeah, I've been asked,
All your forms and
I got an
fees
email
and stuff.
like that the other day, said, who, you know, about the website, who's doing what, how, can I find this? And I'm like, you know, right now.
Well, tell them to look on my website.
Well, I gave you your
Yeah,
website.
that's-
Yeah, but I mean,
that's
we
the
should be able
find
to
it.
do something to control
Send
it.
it to your website.
Because
But even
see,
if, even
that
if
should
it's
be on
on
the
your,
city's website.
yeah, you heard me say, even though it's on your website, as a city, we need our.
we should have it on the
should
city
have our
website. Yeah, and so
you
this,
know.
you know, the kind of person we're talking about is a person that's computer capable, you know, that can handle the drawings for the cemetery on the computer, okay? That can handle the bookkeeping aspects of it, and can handle the website. You know, that's the kind of thing that we're talking about here. Business licenses,
Then you got a full-time person.
then you got a full-time person.
And you can justify it.
And
Yeah,
you
and you can
justify it.
justify, and you can
Website
justify it.
itself,
Yeah.
putting that every day and sending out, instead of, whether I forget or Louis forget to do, send out to you guys,
Yeah.
that person is responsible now for sending out.
Well, and keeping information before the public.
Right.
And you know, there's nothing that helps governing people than keeping them informed about what's going on.
It's like our fire and EMS webpage, we put out stuff on there because I don't have access to the city's website where I can advertise weather alerts and, you know,
Right.
hydrate
Hey,
and
that's
upcoming events.
Weather alerts.
All that
Then
stuff.
once you get to put the city's website on there, then you wanna click on the fire department or whatever, and everything, what they're
Yes,
doing,
exactly.
So we
on
gonna
there,
wait.
police department.
And the ordinances, the city.
City ordinances,
You know,
yeah.
and I found some software that you can take the scanned copy and you can now make it searchable.
Mhm.
Okay, it does optical character recognition.
Well, you can just give links to it as well, too.
Yeah.
which we
Well, but if you don't,
have
yeah,
any of that.
you can do that, but what I'm saying is, you don't have to have it in electronic form. Even the old stuff that we don't have in electronic form, you can still have it on there and they can go search it.
Well, I tell you, when I got hired on here and I walked into City Hall for that first time, if we ever have a fire,
It's
Oh,
a-
yeah.
Well, that's another thing, now, we don't purchase the building, we don't.
That's,
get
I was just about to
anything.
bring that up, Mayor,
Sit down.
we need to go ahead and get on that new city hall building, man.
Have we closed on it? Is that all settled?
Everything's done.
We
Everything's
need
there?
to get a
Let's
plan
do it.
in place, go ahead and get that thing up and going, they can start moving. I mean, get,
There still got to be some stuff out, my thing is, let's send out some bids for outside source to come in and what we got, what needs to be done. Let them come in and get it done, because we can't keep asking George to do this.
No.
Well, I said that when we got there, I mean, you
So,
know,
let's-
he don't need to be
We
worried about.
we got the, what they said was wrong with the building in order to move in and, you know, and let's send out some bids to contractors.
a lot of it's cosmetic stuff. so
Yeah,
it's
if
just
they're not, if
cosmetics.
they're in Atlanta, I mean, that's fine, we just need to send out.
And I can
let's
tell
do
y'all
all of
this,
it.
from what I saw, carpet don't need replacing over there.
no,
It don't need
clean
replacing.
that carpet,
Huh?
good cleaning, and keep it moving. That bank, that building got so many rooms in there,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
You got so much space in there, like I say, this new code and building get all this stuff set up, new computers, everything they need to go to work, you set it up,
They
so.
actually even have a break room.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Set up
Nice.
council
The
chambers
fire
over there,
stuff, the fire
everything.
stuff
is
You
like-
come up with a design, come up,
Let's bring that up Tuesday about the new building and see how we, think about it. I'll tell Louis to put it on the agenda, so let's everybody think about what's our next step in the process, what we need to do.
Well, we need to find some money.
Yeah,
You know, in talking about, I want to just change just a little bit there
Yeah.
to go to money. We need to really look at passing those last two things that we got out there on the table now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know that it should be on
Now.
the agenda, the
So,
Water and sewage rate.
Water and sewer and the garbage fee.
you know, we need to pass those things. Guys, I'm gonna be out of town the 25th to the 4th.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm not a vote for you, I'm not a help to you at that point. So,
No
you know,
absentee ballots.
right. So, you know, even in this meeting, if we do Friday,
Yeah,
if we could do the garbage rate
let's do it.
Friday,
You know, I
and
proposed that over a
then
year ago.
on the 31st or the 24th, do the water and sewer. You know, guys, we need to get these things in there now.
Yeah, I mean, all of those services
Now.
need to pay for their cost of operation and have 15% or something for overhead.
And, Councilman Ellis, these three gentlemen were at the meeting with the county. I just thought I'd throw that in there. Hopefully that is a good deal.
How'd they go?
Very well.
Cause they know,
Oh, they
Friday morning.
they know what it would cost for them.
They get a free ride,
Yeah.
you know.
Limb truck and, Friday morning, it's gonna be limb truck and what else? We're gonna put on there about the.
Water and sewer, I think.
No,
No,
the,
garbage.
Garbage rate.
Increase the garbage fee, yeah.
Well, let's discuss that right quick. So what are we, what's the fee we're talking
Last
about?
proposal I heard was $25, right?
It's about $25 total money.
I had proposed just doubling it, which would be
Yeah.
28.
Right,
You know,
right.
28.
What is it
Only
now? What is it
25?
now? 14?
It's about $14 now.
$14.15 or something.
So we're basically going up $10, right at $10.
It costs nothing, then
Garbage
they
rate.
going up
So
on,
we proposing 25?
Yeah.
I think that's what we got written down.
Isn't that
that's
what most
what-
municipalities are?
Okay.
Yeah.
25?
There's
The
something
attorney
like
got
that.
this stuff already, man. Hell, that's the holdup.
Well, he's part of the holdup. I mean,
Well,
He's screwed up a lot
we need
lately.
to call him.
Oh, yeah, while we're talking about that, you know, we're gonna have to do some more stuff on the cemetery stuff.
what else, they doing something?
Oh,
He
He done,
screwed it
he
up.
done screwed all that up,
Yeah.
man.
Again,
He said, he put all the information in as far as that first ordinance that we was trying to do, as far as the,
Sabotage.
he just messed it
and
up.
then he emailed it out, and he sent it to the wrong email address for me. I don't know if y'all got it.
I didn't get
So,
it, no, hell no. I
You didn't get it either, so.
And I
he
saw what he
So-
said, somebody, guess he
so-
sent it to
And
himself.
we already sent it, and we already,
And you should have seen his performance at the planning commission meeting. It was a joke.
Yeah, that wasn't pretty.
You were there,
Yeah,
too.
what-
That was terrible.
I missed that, I will never
Yeah,
forget.
no.
missed that.
It was, well, the video was
He had to
online.
end up getting in, stepping in to tell everybody exactly what the issues were.
What about about what?
Well, first of all, he didn't call for public comment on the first one, which was the rezoning for the
The
Package
the
food?
gas station. He didn't ask for public
And
comment on it. He got to the
Holloway's
next one, and I said, hey, how about some public comment on this one? Oh, yeah. And, you know, and he shouldn't be running the meeting anyway.
No.
The person who chairs the committee should be running that. But they aren't prepared, you know, they haven't
Well,
had any training.
speaking of that, I know you asked me about that. I think what we're gonna have to do on some of these committees, send them to training.
Yeah,
And we need to find some places where they can go for a day for training.
yeah.
And,
I wonder if the Regional Planning Commission would send us a trainer,
Oh, yeah.
you know.
We can start utilizing them too, we can do that,
Well,
5-year plan, we can do.
Lewis and I
they-
met with him.
They provide a lot of good services, man, a lot of good.
Last week, I guess it was.
They do a 5-year plan, 10-year plan, all that?
Yeah, yeah. And
I'd like to-
we
I'd like
have-
to be
we
part
have-
Comprehensive plan, and
We
there were a
have a
lot of citizens
comprehensive
to go off of, man, they get them to do
We
that
have 2
comprehensive
copies of
plan.
it.
What are your plans for the next 5 years, they can go to each department, everything you said, I mean, just lay it out.
Really?
To my ordinances and all that, they help with all that stuff, we.
and we paying them,
Yeah,
I mean.
yeah, that's
Well,
how,
yeah, and then, yeah, we had Lewis and I had a good meeting with the guy.
I got a copy of the one from back in years ago, where they did one for the city, and
2003
Yeah.
was the last comprehensive plan.
Oh, wow.
And, well, guess what? We have some of the same problems today. Nothing done in 20 years. So,
Yeah, I think we can address that by getting them some training.
yeah, that's what they need is,
We
you know,
put people on, and then
And-
we expect them to already know
to already know what's going on.
what's going on.
And what's the purpose of zoning, you know, just some very basic information on how to conduct a meeting.
And then some of the information he was pushing out to the board wasn't the right information.
Uh-uh.
And it was like, that's not gonna fly.
no way.
Well,
So there's another problem, however, is our city
truck
Yeah.
for Friday, you know, a car.
Yeah.
Okay. And in the meantime, my understanding of code enforcement, we're gonna kind of look at how,
Well,
It's gonna be up
four
to,
jobs.
it's gonna be up to you to kind of steer the way as far as what George do as
You
far as.
come up with a
bring-
job description
Bringing that
and
person
bring
on
it.
in, you know, hold him up and say, look, you know, as far as the job description, we're gonna look at, we're looking at something we need to do.
Yeah.
And,
Don't
and
have nobody
I'll, you know,
until we-
probably I'll have you this information in
Yeah.
another 2 weeks,
Yeah.
you know, that what we wanna do.
Well,
Yeah.
and the advantage for George is, instead of having a part-time person that's there only part of the time, he'd have somebody available 8 hours a day, every day, that he could call on to work for
That's
him
right.
part of the time.
That's right.
Okay, and that's, to George, that would be an advantage,
Yeah,
instead
that's
of
what we
having to
wanna
wait, oh,
report.
well, I'm sorry, my guy doesn't come in until tomorrow.
Yeah. Cause I mean, you know, as long as we know those that person is covering those jobs, he or she can move around and do whatever at any
Exactly.
given time.
And,
You
and
know,
clock into that particular
Yeah,
task.
yeah,
right? So
same
you know
thing,
how much time's
Yeah.
going each direction.
okay, well, we got that. I guess that follow, I had written down,
Yeah.
bookkeeping as well, so that coincide with.
Yeah, that was the fourth.
So,
Escape.
all right, well,
Okay.
gentlemen, we'll see each other Friday morning, 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
Good meeting.
At the council.
Yeah.
I guess, Mr. Lewis, I mean, make sure your other two council members know what we're doing, and please let them know what we're talking about and discussing. You know, so it ain't
I'll
no,
have those two things, man.
Yeah, we have a secret meeting.
I know we arrived at that decision
Garbage.
out of a work session.
Y'all want to put code enforcement back on there too for Friday?
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's the four.
So that'll be 3 times.
The business license, code enforcement,
Yeah, because if we're looking at, not renewing that contract with that company, we need to
Yeah.
go and get something in place.
Yeah.
business license, code
Get that
enforcement,
job description for that new person coming in. and-
cemetery, and website. Those 4 tasks for one person. And what you need is somebody that's computer capable.
Yeah, a lot of, most
Hey, I
of these.
think-
3, 4, cemetery, website, business license, code enforcement.
Yeah, somebody that does
Garbage and them trucks.
No.
Yeah, this is a person to do that.
And let's jot down, hey, just go and jot down on there, let's look at Counseling Avenue's contract on Friday.
Oh, yeah, we gotta do that.
Okay. I get everything written up, send it to Lewis right with it.
I haven't heard anything good about it.
No.
Yeah, that's something people need to be able to come to City Hall and get that taken care of.
Yes.
But now, let me say this, guys, now, we're gonna cancel Avenue's contract, you know what that means, don't you? We gotta have somebody
We
in
gotta have
place
somebody in place.
to get up to do this job.
Yeah, yeah, and we need to get them in a bit ahead of time so they
That's
can
right.
get a little practice. and
Right.
training.
Yeah, ask Louis if he can give us a copy of that contract that we got with Avenue, so everybody take a look at it. When did that thing end?
I think it was
October.
October.
Yeah.
Hey, I think, guys,